In a turn of events that no one saw coming, the Hollywood rumor mill has been set ablaze again. But this time the spotlight isn't on Blake Lively or even Taylor Swift. No, it's on a surprising figure who rarely wades into the treacherous waters of entertainment. Drama: Tom Brady. Yes, that Tom Brady, the 7-time Super Bowl champion, the GOAT of the NFL, the man behind the wellness empire TB12. And what's he doing in the middle of a scorched earth celebrity legal battle involving Justin Baldoni? According to an explosive news source, Tom Brady may have just fired one of his own PR insiders, someone who used to work with none other than Justin Baldoni himself. If you're wondering why Brady would get rid of a publicist with that kind of Hollywood pedigree, we're right there with you, but here's the kicker: this wasn't just a business decision. According to multiple leaks, it may have had everything to do with allegiance to Justin Baldoni. The story we're about to unravel is messy, high stakes, and absolutely riddled with questions. Why did Tom Brady suddenly drop this person from his PR circle? What secrets did this ex-publicist hold, and is Tom Brady of all people secretly on Team Justin in the legal feud that's pitting Blake Lively against the man she once tried to cancel? This isn't just a tabloid curiosity. This has real implications. Hollywood power brokers, celebrity alliances, legal strategy, and elite image control are all at play. Because when a megastar like Tom Brady makes a move like this, it sends a signal. And when that move seems to benefit Justin Baldoni, who has spent the past year locked in a brutal public relations and legal brawl with Blake Lively, you better believe the world is going to notice. From high-powered legal firms in Los Angeles to VIP suites in Manhattan, from the NFL to Netflix, from wellness brands to Hollywood scandals, this story cuts across every layer of fame, influence, and control. And it all hinges on one question: whose side is Tom Brady really on today? We're diving deep into internal power struggles, career-ending decisions, deleted files, hidden loyalties, and a brewing Hollywood civil war that just got a major player involved. We'll bring you insider whispers, reactions from Hollywood insiders, and the implications for Justin, Blake, and beyond. So sit tight, because if you thought things couldn't get crazier after the Blake-Justin subpoenas, leaked texts, and canceled projects, think again, because when Tom Brady enters the chat, the game changes entirely. It all started quietly, whispers in the corridors of Beverly Hills PR firms, a sudden change in social media tone from TB12, a mysteriously deleted LinkedIn profile, and then boom, the news hit like a thunderclap. One of Justin Baldoni's former publicists, who had since transitioned to working with high-profile corporate clients, most recently with Tom Brady's TB12 brand, was suddenly and unceremoniously let go. At first it looked like standard industry turnover, but insiders quickly painted a more damning picture. This wasn't a clean break, said a PR consultant who has worked with both Brady's and Baldoni's teams in the past. It was abrupt, hostile, and emotional, and I'm hearing it came straight from Brady himself. The name of the publicist hasn't been officially confirmed, but industry sources identify her as a rising PR force who had been instrumental in shaping Baldoni's family-friendly image during his early ventures at Wayfarer Entertainment. When she transitioned out of the entertainment PR world and into wellness and lifestyle branding, it was seen as a coup for TB12, bringing in someone with a Hollywood touch to a brand that had become synonymous with elite performance and self-care. But something changed, and insiders say it has everything to do with the ongoing legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, which has quietly been turning into a who's who of Hollywood factions choosing sides. Here's where it gets juicy. Apparently, this ex-publicist had been approached recently by someone in Lively's orbit, possibly even a lawyer, with a request, a very specific request. They wanted her to provide communications or internal memos from her time working with Justin. One source told us they framed it as discovery related. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. And that's when the call came down from TB12 headquarters: you're out. Now, if this was just about old files or vague loyalties, maybe it would have stayed under wraps. But sources close to the situation say Brady himself was furious when he learned of the communication. Why? Because the request allegedly came with a carrot, an offer to bring her back into the Hollywood fold if she played ball with Lively's legal team. He saw it as betrayal of Brady. Associate claims Tom isn't about that kind of disloyalty, and he's not about backdoor deals, especially not when it involves someone like Justin, who he respects. That's the other bombshell in this whole saga. Apparently, Tom Brady and Justin Baldoni have had more contact than people realize. They first met at a tech and philanthropy conference in 2022. Both were on panels about ethical branding and mental health. Sources say they connected backstage over their shared interest in wellness, fatherhood, and pushing against toxic masculinity in media. And after that, they kept in touch sporadically but warmly. It's unclear how close they actually are, but what is clear is that Brady didn't want anyone in his camp getting used by the lively legal machine to go after Baldoni. And so the publicist was out. That move sent a signal, and Hollywood picked up on it fast. Within 48 hours, whispers began circulating. Emails were exchanged between studios, branding consultants, and major agencies. The message: be careful, Brady's not neutral. Now let's pause to recognize how monumental that is. Tom Brady has built his post-football life on being above the fray, clean, neutral, strategic. He endorses watches, produces documentaries, and drinks avocado smoothies. He does not wade into court dramas involving movie stars, until now. And that raises the question, why now? Why risk his spotless image over a fired publicist? Why take a stand when he could have easily let the issue fade quietly? Sources suggest it's because Brady sees the bigger picture. He sees what's happening to Baldoni, a man accused, smeared, subpoenaed, and slimed by the very PR machine he used to be part of, and he doesn't like it. He knows what it's like to be targeted, said a legal analyst who tracks celebrity litigation. Deflategate, retirement drama, Giesel fallout. Brady's no stranger to media storms. But he also knows what justice looks like. And he's not going to sit by if he sees someone being railroaded. It's not just loyalty, it's brand protection, because let's not forget, Tom Brady's empire is built on discipline, ethics, and control. If someone in his orbit is using privileged access to help a celebrity adversary, that's not just a liability, it's a reputation bomb, and he disarmed it before it could explode. But if you think this ends with one person losing their job, think again. The aftershocks are still rumbling, and the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni just got a powerful new wildcard added to the board. We'll continue this in part 2, where we explore Hollywood's reaction, what this means for Baldoni's case, and the theory that Blake's team may have overplayed their hand. The moment word got out that Tom Brady had quietly cut ties with the former Baldoni-affiliated publicist, the industry reaction was electric. For some, it confirmed what had long been speculated, that the Baldoni-Lively battle had gone far beyond the courtroom. This wasn't just about legal liability anymore, it was about narrative control, image warfare, and choosing sides in a battle that was dividing not just fans, but power players across Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And suddenly people were watching Tom Brady very, very closely. PR insiders started double-checking their contracts, agents began whispering to clients, attorneys reviewed NDA clauses they hadn't touched in years. Something about this move, so seemingly small yet so symbolic, rattled the usual balance. Because if Tom Brady, the man known for micromanaging every aspect of his life and brand with obsessive precision, felt the need to draw a line in the sand publicly, well, then others would need to follow suit. A powerful signal had been sent. The war for narrative, publicists caught in the middle. The entertainment world revolves around perception, and publicists are its gatekeepers. In this case, Justin Baldoni's former PR rep, now ex-DB12 insider, became the eye of a growing storm. She wasn't just some assistant, a source told Deadline Confidential. She knew strategy. She helped craft how Justin responded to early rumors about the Blake situation. And later, she was part of Brady's wellness messaging during one of TB12's rebranding phases. That's not a small role, that's access, that's information. But here's where it gets even messier. Apparently, this PR strategist had retained access to archived correspondence related to Justin's early media planning during the Blake Lively conflict. These weren't documents covered by legal privilege, at least not directly, but they included sensitive internal opinions, emotional reactions, early drafts of public statements, and even potential talking points that were never used. And if even one of those drafts had any hint of contradiction to Baldoni's legal claims, that could be spun into gold by Blake Lively's team. Word on the street is that Blake's legal advisors were eager to get their hands on these. So eager, in fact, that they may have overreached, possibly pressuring this publicist to revisit old client work with a veiled legal threat or carrot-dangling opportunity. But this backfired spectacularly, because what Blake's camp didn't seem to anticipate was how closely aligned Brady might be with Baldoni, or more precisely, how much Brady despises disloyalty. And this act, even if it was just considering a document handoff, was interpreted as ultimate betrayal. Brady's message to his own team was reportedly clear: if they're willing to turn once, they'll turn again. And just like that, the publicist was out. Whispers of retaliation. Is Blake Lively's camp panicking? Insiders say the reaction from Lively's side has been mixed, but there's panic underneath the polished exterior. Why? Because the dismissal didn't stay private, it was leaked strategically. Rumors are swirling that someone close to Brady may have intentionally allowed the firing to become public as a warning shot. Blake's legal team had been playing hardball. They thought they could exploit cracks in Justin's former professional relationships. But Brady's move sent a signal: you try to exploit my people, you burn that bridge forever. Now Blake's lawyers are reportedly scrambling. Internal communications leaked to the Hollywood Defiant show that Blake's legal team is assessing the damage of public backlash from elite circles. They're worried because once high-profile figures like Brady start circling the wagons around Baldoni, it becomes harder for Blake to spin the optics in her favor. She's lost the narrative. One Hollywood crisis manager observed. She had it months ago. But between the judge's rulings, Baldoni's calm demeanor, and now Brady's subtle but very loud action, she looks increasingly isolated. And here's where it gets even more damning: a number of previously neutral media outlets have begun changing their tone. Suddenly, op-eds that were once cautious or ambiguous are now calling out Lively's legal tactics as aggressive, opaque, and potentially coercive. Podcasts that once played both sides are now hinting that Justin may be the wronged party. And several elite influencers, particularly those in the wellness and parenting space, are starting to softly align with Baldoni, sharing his quotes, tagging his content, and citing his work in emotional literacy. This is no accident. This is PR. War. And Tom Brady just took the nuclear option: quiet power play, no mess, no noise, maximum impact. Brady and Baldoni, an unexpected brotherhood. So let's step back and ask the question that everyone is now whispering in VIP lounges, studio offices, and green rooms: why does Tom Brady care? He's not known to jump into celebrity drama. He's not even that connected to Hollywood outside of producing a few documentaries and dating the occasional A-lister. But according to insiders, there's more to the Brady-Baldoni relationship than most realize. As mentioned earlier, they met at a high-profile wellness and philanthropy summit in 2022. But that meeting reportedly led to more than just polite post-panel talk. They began exchanging ideas about fatherhood, masculinity, the stress of fame, and public image. Brady admired Baldoni's work on redefining what it means to be a man in today's world, especially given the harsh scrutiny both had faced in their respective arenas. The timing is crucial here. Brady was reeling from intense media pressure over his divorce from Gisele Bündchen and rumors of brand disconnection. Baldoni was just starting to be dragged into the PR war with Blake Lively. Both men, it seems, found common ground in the chaos of character assassination. What started as philosophical exchange reportedly turned into mutual support, with Brady even seeking Baldoni's advice on certain projects, especially those aimed at young men, mental health, and brand storytelling. And while the public never saw them together, much insiders say there were at least 3 closed-door meetings between them in the last 18 months. And perhaps most tellingly, one of the last TB12 campaigns subtly referenced the idea of forgiveness, resilience, and surviving reputation warfare. Coincidence? Not likely. Brady is known for being exacting with words. That language, especially during the height of Baldoni's media scrutiny, felt almost like a coded signal, one that only now, in hindsight, makes perfect sense. And the moment Brady dropped that PR insider from his team, it became clear he's on Team Justin. What this means for Baldoni's legal strategy: here's the real kicker: this development might actually help Baldoni's legal team. Until now, much of their strategy has focused on legal facts, reputational damage, and dismissing Blake's emotional testimony as exaggerated and unsubstantiated. But with this new turn, Baldoni's team now has the clearest possible evidence that the PR machine against him may have tried to coerce or manipulate former colleagues. In legal terms, that's not just unethical, it could open the door to sanctions or additional motions to suppress Blake's discovery tactics. And it certainly plays well in the court of public opinion. Moreover, Baldoni's attorneys can now argue that there is a coordinated effort to dig into his past through illegitimate channels, not through proper legal discovery, but via backdoor pressure campaigns on former staffers that can be used to bolster claims of harassment, witness tampering, or even defamation if anything false is leaked. And the irony: the fired publicist may now become a witness for Baldoni. Yes, really. Sources say Baldoni's legal team is now weighing whether to subpoena the former publicist themselves, not for anything damaging, but to testify to the tactics used by Lively's camp and the reason she was fired from TB12. If that happens, this story will explode tenfold. The story was already nuclear before Tom Brady quietly cutting ties with a former Baldoni-affiliated publicist who allegedly entertained offers from Blake Lively's legal camp. But now the impact is spreading like wildfire, and it's not just Legal teams and PR handlers reacting. Hollywood itself is splitting down the middle. Because what started as whispers about old grudges and subpoenas has morphed into something much bigger. A culture war inside celebrity circles, and like it or not, celebrities are being forced to choose sides. The Swift factor. Taylor's allegiance becomes clearer. First up, let's address the most important name in this feud aside from Justin and Blake: Taylor Swift. While Taylor has maintained a relatively diplomatic distance from the legal meat grinder engulfing Blake and Justin, sources now say that Tom Brady's move may have given her the confidence to stand more firmly in Justin's camp. Here's why that matters. For months, Taylor has tried to avoid overtly weighing in. After all, Blake Lively has long been part of her tightly curated girl squad image. But the leaks, the court transcripts, the stories about Blake's legal team weaponizing personal relationships, those things don't align with Swift's evolving public stance on accountability, justice, and female empowerment. And the Brady move that changed the board. Privately, multiple sources say that Taylor has told her team to begin reassessing media partnerships that were previously coordinated through Lively's reps. That includes stylist crossover deals, mutual brand tie-ins, and even backstage coordination at upcoming award shows. One source close to Swift's publicist even claims she's done protecting Blake. She's not throwing her under the bus, but she's not going to take hits for her anymore. Another added: Taylor's watching the same headlines we are. She sees Baldoni getting dragged unfairly, and she knows what it's like to be the media's punching bag. That kind of shared experience builds quiet allegiances. That's right. Tom Brady may have given Taylor the moral permission to walk away from Blake. And in Hollywood, that's huge. The blacklist begins quiet punishment for picking the wrong side. As Brady's action reverberates through a list and agency circles, there's another development. Many didn't anticipate a soft Hollywood blacklist forming against those who continue enabling Blake's scorched earth strategy. Studios are now hesitant to take meetings with some of her reps. Brand managers are reconsidering endorsement partnerships. Even agencies are starting to ask uncomfortable questions about risk. Not just legal risk, but reputational risk. According to a WME staffer, it used to be that attaching Blake to a project brought a glow. Now it brings concern, not just about press, about who else she might drag into the fight. You know it's serious when Blake's own stylist, who's been with her through to pregnancies and 5 Met Galas, has gone silent on social media. No likes, no comments, nothing about Blake's latest campaign. And that same stylist has been quietly tagging Justin Baldoni's Man Enough series on Instagram, with captions like "Time for nuance." That's not subtle. And it's not accidental. The influence of the masculinity movement in Hollywood. Let's pause here to appreciate the broader context. Justin Baldoni isn't just an actor. He's a speaker, producer, and author deeply embedded in a growing movement inside Hollywood. The deconstruction of toxic masculinity, his work on Man Enough, his TED Talks, and his memoir Boys Will Be Human have gained traction not just among audiences, but among Hollywood insiders hungry for cultural reform. And who's been watching that with great interest? Tom Brady. Sources say that Brady, amid his own brand's shift into emotional fitness, saw Baldoni as a kind of philosophical North Star. Not a perfect man, not a saint, but someone willing to have hard conversations and do the internal work. So when Blake Lively's legal machine tried to paint Baldoni as deceptive or emotionally manipulative, Brady saw a contradiction. The man whose whole brand is vulnerability accused of being disingenuous. Brady didn't buy it. That's reportedly why the PR firing was so sudden and so final, because Brady believed Baldoni. And that belief is rippling outward. More men in Hollywood, actors, athletes, producers, are reportedly echoing the same phrase: Justin's a good dude, he didn't deserve this. The return of the exiled. Interestingly, Baldoni's moral high ground is also attracting former allies who had once distanced themselves, either to protect their own careers or to avoid Blake Lively's media power. Now several are reportedly circling back. One key figure, a well-known director who had previously cast both Blake and Justin in the same film years ago, but who had gone silent in the wake of the feud. That director has reportedly reached out to Baldoni's team about a new collaboration. Why? Because the tide is turning and Justin stood tall while others played dirty. That's the emerging narrative, that Justin didn't retaliate, didn't smear, didn't leak. He let the facts and now Brady speak for him. Hollywood's unwritten rules, and who just broke them. Behind all of this drama lies a deeper truth. Hollywood runs on invisible rules. You don't go after someone's old publicist. You don't turn friends into witnesses. You don't let courtroom drama spill into reputation destruction campaigns unless you're ready for the fallout. And most of all, you don't cross Tom Brady, not because he's scary, not because he has goons, but because he represents order in a chaotic, ego-driven industry. He's not messy, he's not reactive, he's strategic. And when someone like that makes a bold move, everyone stops to ask, what do they know that we don't? The answer in this case might be simple. He knows Justin Baldoni didn't deserve what he got. In the unpredictable, high-stakes world of celebrity conflict, very few stories truly shift the landscape. Most feuds burn bright and fast, reduced to gossip or a trending hashtag within a day. But this one, the saga involving Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and now shockingly Tom Brady, has ignited something different, something deeper. What started as a bitter legal dispute has evolved into a cultural inflection point, a rare moment where Hollywood's inner power dynamics have been dragged into public view. And in that firestorm, one subtle but strategic move may have changed the game entirely. Tom Brady's quiet dismissal of a publicist caught dabbling on both sides of the line. That action wasn't just about one person losing their job, it was a message, a warning, a choice, and Hollywood heard it loud and clear. In the wake of Brady's move, the once cohesive protective wall surrounding Blake Lively began to fracture. Allies backed away, industry figures whispered doubts. Even Taylor Swift began to recalculate her public image strategy, sensing that siding too strongly with Lively might now carry collateral damage. And meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, quiet, steady, and consistent, began to look more and more like a man who had simply endured a campaign of vengeance he never deserved. Brady's subtle endorsement didn't require a public statement. It didn't need a tweet. In Hollywood, actions are statements. And by severing ties with someone trying to undermine Baldoni behind the scenes, Brady made his stance crystal clear. More importantly, he humanized Baldoni in a way the courtroom never could. That's the real takeaway here. In an age where celebrities are often flattened into sound bites or court filings, Brady saw Baldoni as a real person, one being targeted unfairly. That empathy has now opened the door for a broader re-examination of this feud. Who is really telling the truth? Who is weaponizing relationships for leverage? And who, when given every opportunity to retaliate, chose restraint and integrity instead? For Baldoni, this could mark the beginning of a powerful rebound, not just legally but reputationally. With Brady's implicit support and the tide of public opinion shifting, the court of public sentiment may finally start asking tougher questions, not of Baldoni, but of those trying so hard to destroy him. As for Blake Lively, the longer this drags on, the more her strategy appears not just aggressive but desperate. And desperation is never a good look in Hollywood. What happens next remains to be seen. But one thing is now undeniable: Tom Brady just made it very clear who he believes. And in doing so, he may have just tipped the scales in the most explosive celebrity feud of the decade.